Well, hello. It's been a while since I've done a video. In other words, like a week or something. But I've been going through a lot. Just too many hours at my job and burnout and using a lot of Kratom to push through. And so the last few days I've had to just take a break from everything and cut back. Like, I think I was doing like 50 to 80 grams of Kratom a day. It's just way too much. And I've cut it down to 15. Actually less than that. I just did increments. But actually I kind of went straight down to the first one. I went down to like 20, and then I went down to 15, and then I went down to, I think I did like 10 grams last night, which is like way more, way better. The cool thing about Kratom is it's not like other drugs where it just like goes on and on. I mean, it was a long couple days, don't get me wrong. And like the effect it has on your neurotransmitters and all that, you get the sweats and cold and all that stuff. But you know what? It was worth it, because winters here are rough, and it was a great antidepressant. I just overdid it like I do a lot of things, including work. And so it's been good to just take a step back and just take care of myself. I even put in my 2 weeks notice at my work. I want to move to Portland, even though I wasn't expecting to be done this soon, but things happened at my job with like the new ownership of that business, and things started falling behind. And then even though I was the main worker, I wasn't really the manager anymore. Even though I was the manager for a while and I trained the new boss, eventually he wanted to do the managing and stuff, so he took that over. And he had so much on his plate that things were getting so far behind, and he was just doing things his way, and I didn't want to impede and like be busting his chops, and be like, no, it's this way, because he's my boss. So I ended up just being like, I can't do this. Like, there was just all kinds of problems there due to like things falling so far behind, and the plants getting neglected, and bugs and powdery mildew and just all kinds of stuff. I work at a cannabis grow, or did, I guess. But I am gonna hopefully go back, because I don't have a job lined up. I don't have anything, so I'm just letting life happen, I guess. But the interesting thing is, and I've done this before, I've quit a job before I had a new job. You just gotta take care of yourself. You have to prioritize yourself, even though this capitalist society like pushes you to, you need a job, and just like stresses you out with all that kind of stuff. And what you need is a break, so you can like recalibrate yourself and rebalance and get better and just feel okay. And the whole thing about stress is you get so used to the stress that pretty soon it doesn't feel like stress anymore, and then one day you just crash, like you just burn out. And that's exactly what happened to me. So it's been good for me to take a step back and reassess things, and I think I've outgrown this town. Like, I need to move somewhere else and have new opportunities. It's just hard to find new opportunities. Like, so far all I've got is scam offers and stuff. There's just so many scams out there. And when you're someone like me that has a unique set of experiences and different jobs, and then you want to do something new, like, I'm kind of like, I don't know what I even want, really. I've been a farmer on 4 different farms, I think. Yeah, at least 4 different farms. And I've been a caregiver at 2 different caregiving places. What else? I've been a paid musician for a few years. I was just doing that. That was awesome. But not a made musician where I'm my own boss. But I did have certain freedoms. I was able to compose my own parts, and that helped me evolve a lot. And I've also, right out of high school, way back in 2008, through 2014, I worked at Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories in Pullman, where I did all kinds of stuff. I worked in mechanical assembly, then I moved to electronic assembly, I moved to the warehouse, shipping, receiving, and then I moved to electronic assembly. Actually, all those aren't in the right order, but I did switch around a few times. And hopefully one day, like, they'll have all that stuff automated so you don't have to do, like, robotic work. It's funny, this is another side branch where people are like, oh, like, robots are going to take all our jobs. It's like they're going to take all the sucky jobs that no one wants to do. Yeah, let's do that. And hopefully we can eventually get paid and get out of this whole thinking that we have to work to get paid. We don't have to do that. That's just, the way it's been through history. And you got to learn through history. It's like, do we really need to repeat that over and over? It is possible to not have to work. I mean, you have to do things, but you don't have to do the same things over and over, like assembly. Like, that made me so depressed, especially being the creative person I am. I didn't have time to do all the things I wanted to do. So I just ended up, like, I felt like my brain was dying. And that's when I was sober, too. I wasn't... Well, eventually I would drink, like, once or twice a week. But I wasn't smoking weed or anything. But yeah, I ended up actually, yeah, that was not fun. I think I'm gonna park back here. Just made it to my house. It's a beautiful Olympia day. I went for a bike ride. I feel a lot lighter. I still have just a little bit of withdrawals from this whole last winter of me just using Kratom to get by. I tell you, it is helpful as an antidepressant, and it helped me with music. I wrote some songs. Like, I see these videos on the internet where people are like, it's like the recovery story with how they finally got rid of Kratom, and it's like, I don't want to knock that. I don't want to be rude, but I also don't want to just like demonize it. I want to have a healthy relationship with it. It's all about balance. And even if you have an excessive, that's not the word, personality thing, or obsessive, I don't know, where you just, like, obsessive compulsive, where you're like, oh, this works, I'm going to do more of it. And then it becomes like you're doing it all the time, every day. And that's me. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's just a constant exercising of self-control. And that's how it started out with Kratom, and then I got really depressed, and then it became just this crutch that, like, I got dependent on. Anyway, suffice to say, it is, of all the drugs, not that hard to quit. It's actually, in some ways, easier to quit than weed, because weed is, like, so innocent in a lot of ways, and I don't smoke a lot of it. It's usually just in the evenings. But with cannabis, it's so, like, it's so mild on your system. Even if its psychotropic effects might seem like oh my God, anxiety, But if you take a small enough amount, like microdose with it, it can really like help things with relaxation, and especially if you're just trying to chill. If you're trying to do things, it might not help you execute them with the precision you're going for. But if you're just trying to chill, it's great for that, just a little bit. But that's almost hard to completely quit, because I keep thinking back on my life before, and this is something I still have to get over, but I keep thinking back on my life before when I didn't smoke weed and I was so depressed, but there were lots of other factors. So I can't use that. I need to like think about how I am now and how I've evolved, because I'm not that guy that worked at the factory when it, from like age 19 or to 24 or whatever I was. I don't know. 25? I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm going through now. And it also helps whenever you're detoxing or cleansing like I am, to do some research and find some supplements to help you rebalance, because the body is resilient and it will rebalance itself. Like I'm taking L-theanine, like that really helps, and omega-3s, and reishi mushroom, and some other things. I'm going to try a valerian root again for sleep, because sometimes the sleep feels unproductive. But it's eventually your body will balance. And what I used to do in my 20s is just quit everything if I was going to do a cleanse all at the same time, which in my 20s I could handle that a little better. And it's actually in some ways easier for your system, because it's not as complicated. It just goes right back to its natural homeostasis. Whereas if you like taper and then maybe you have a spike because you did it again that day, and then you're like maybe still doing nicotine in some form or like cannabis, it just kind of like things kind of waver. But if you like really just do a pure consciousness cleanse, that's what I call it, pure consciousness, because it's just, there's nothing stimulating. Pure consciousness cleanse would also include cutting out coffee, anything psychotropic. And I've done it. It's pretty nice. It takes a lot of willpower though, because your brain's like, give me this, give me that. Oh, that'll be, it's like they make it sound, it's like your brain makes it sound so good because it remembers only the good times. Like it's desperate to feel good. But you just have to tell yourself, like, this is just today, and tomorrow, after a good night's sleep, you'll feel better. Maybe not all the way better, but a noticeable improvement. So for anyone trying cleanses, and diet's a big part of it too. Like a lot of what makes us feel lousy isn't even like, you see a lot of people that don't do substances, or maybe they do coffee or a glass of wine or something, but they don't look happy. And of course it's not just their health, but they all kind of play a role. Like if you have a breakup or a close friend passes away, you might kind of like fall into this self-sabotage thing where you're just like eating junk food and just putting garbage in your body. And you're already like feeling despondent or whatever, so it just kind of like, and then that makes you feel worse, and then I've been there so many times. But it's just recognizing that you can feel good. I mean, what makes it especially hard for me is that I struggle already with a lot of chronic depressive kind of stuff. And so I tell you, like, that's why I wasn't able to just completely drop everything, because with the amount I was taking, like the withdrawals were like, oh, it was just rough. It was so like, I was trying to read a book and I was just crying all the time. I'd just break out in tears at the smallest thing, and then I'd get like almost this burning feeling and then this cold feeling. But it's not like, well, from what I hear from people, it's not like heroin. In fact, it's a good in-between. I've never done heroin, and I don't ever plan to, but it sounds like insufferable, Whereas Kratom is you're totally able to quit it.